Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are talking about how to own your power, live your purpose, and claim your prosperity. I'm your host, Anna Kowalska, and today it is my divine pleasure to welcome a returning guest to the salon, Orgena Rose. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. It's so good to be here. So good to be a part of this series with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I am so excited for our conversation, and thank you for being a yes to co-creating again. So those of you, so good. So those of you who don't know Orgena, let me just say a couple words about her, just so you know who you're listening to. Orgena Rose is the first online entertainment producer and a founder of Divine Spirit Network, which creates, produces, and distributes transformational TV shows, movies, music to over 500 networks, media outlets globally. And this is just scratching the surface of who you are and what you do in the world. It's just amazing, the richness that you bring into the world through your divine vessel. It's amazing. So it's very appropriate that we are going to talk about the divine wealth codes, because you are such a rich being.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And here's the beauty, Anna. So are you, and so is every single person listening. Every single one listening is also a beautiful divine vessel, full of richness, prosperity, divine wealth. Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
amazing. Yeah. And so it is.
It's who we are. It's who we are at our core. We are limitless, spiritual, divine beings having a human experience. Yes.
Yes.
And the more that we connect in with that, the divine energy that is in us, the divine voice speaking in and through us at all times, the more we connect in with that divine energy, we will experience more of it. So divine wealth, let's clarify that.
Yes.
This was a beautiful download given to me many years ago. Wealth is an acronym that stands for well-being, empowerment, abundance, love, truth, and happiness. This is full, harmonic, holistic wealth. That is who we absolutely are in all of the areas of our lives. Yes.
Oh, amazing. So amazing. And the more, of course, our conversation that we had probably about a year ago or so, I think it was about a year ago, right? Things were already changing, right? You were already talking about the new earth and the new frequencies. And now here we are, it's a year later, we are still, and we're going to be. I actually just heard the other day somebody say, and I feel it, that our generation will not fully be experiencing everything that we are creating, right? Like we are creating it, but we won't fully be living in this transformed world, fully in the, the dimensions that we talk about. But we have an opportunity to live differently, and we are definitely the ones that are bringing this new frequency in, right?
So, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. We're planting the seeds, right? We're planting the seed for those who are coming after to experience it on an even greater level. We're experiencing it ourselves, and then they will experience it exponentially that much more. And, the world needs more caring, conscious people to be financially abundant. Right? It's time to end the struggle with abundance. It's time to really step into who we truly are and the absolute heaven on earth, the world that we absolutely are co-creating right now. We can experience it. We absolutely can experience it. And it's about allowing ourselves to really connect in. That's the key, is really connect in to the divine code, how we're already encoded for wealth. Yes, it's already who we are, how we are. But it's that thing like, if you don't know the code, then you're not going to experience it at its fullest. Yes, you might get bits and glimpses, but the more that you tap into how you are encoded already for wealth on all of the areas, in all of the areas of your life, then you can experience it. And this is so different than how we've seen it, right? So we've seen people who might have lots of the abundance, financial abundance, but they're incredibly poor in their mindset, or their health, their well-being is completely because they've worked themselves to the bone. or their relationships are completely out of whack, out of balance, because they're throwing so much of their energy into working really hard. And the relationship suffered. So that love piece for them, or love for themselves, even just realizing how important, that's number one, right? It is truly like we hear at the airport, on the airplane. We must put our mask on first. We must absolutely fill our cup first, and then serve from that overflow. Yes, overflow, rather than a half cup or a quarter of a cup, and then we're wearing ourselves out and burning ourselves out. So it's time to just completely change this whole model and do it differently. Do it in a way that's absolutely representative of the divine beings that we are.
What is something that you would tell somebody who has been on a journey, speaking of taking care of your vessel, right?
Yes.
And I mentioned it on every interview almost that I'm recovering from COVID. So here it is. So speaking of being rich in all these different areas, for me, my journey was rich in all areas, but very disconnected spiritually, right?
Yes, yes. And that's what happens. So it's like we all come in from different roads that are maybe our strong point, right? So many of us in this community especially will be very strong spiritually. We will have beautiful processes and energetic work that we do, rituals, meditation, all of that. We really rock that area, which is fantastic. It's wonderful. However, when it comes to money, right, handling it, attracting, allowing, flowing in, all of that, that's still a struggle because we have had so many ingrained programming that said anything like that was not spiritual,
right?
That it was somehow less than, that it was a lower vibration and frequency even. So we've actually created a judgment about these things, anything that is actually just neutral. They're just neutral things. That would be like saying, well, this computer is more evil because it was created by this particular brand. A computer is just a computer. We, the humans, actually get to use it. Yes, we get to control it, program it, allow it to serve us. And that's what any of these things are. They are here for serving who we are and what we're called to do. So in our time space, yes, we have chosen to have a piece of paper, many different pieces of paper with different colors on them, to be that exchange of energy that we've agreed has value. That's it. That's all it is at its core. But we have lots of judgment, we have lots of stories, we have lots of memories that are still ingrained in ourselves, right? They're programmed, they're in our neural pathways, and they're stuck in there. So the code that's already in us for the wealth, for that flow of abundance and joy and love, all of that gets kinked, gets stopped up. And so we first must unstop it, unlock it, yes? And then we can actually then connect into, okay, how are you encoded for wealth? What's your unique code? Because it's like anything, if we're not honoring our code, if we're not honoring how we have already agreed and decided is who we are and how we want to show up in our highest and best, then we can feel that, right? We can feel when we're just not quite at that place in that area. So that's the thing now. It's like, okay, let's bring that spiritual energy and understanding and all of those beautiful processes and rituals. Let's bring that now into here and do the clearing, the cleansing, the healing, the complete neuro shifting, the complete energetic reprogramming. Yes, back to your original divine wealth code. And once you do that, limitless. It will astound you, actually. It's astounding.
Isn't it though? And you know what I just love? I definitely want to talk about that, but I want to bring us back to something you said, to honor, to just bring it forward. the unique wealth code. The
That's
unique wealth code. Can you speak more to that?
Absolutely, because just as every fingerprint is unique, every voice has a unique sound frequency, right? All of that, we have a unique code, a very specific makeup of how we are encoded for wealth, of how we decided to show up and come here on this planet to really live and let our light shine and be that change. Yes, all of the things. We have a code within us that's uniquely ours, just like a lock. Yes, there's this number and you turn it this way and you turn it that way. And when you get all of those lined up, everything clicks. And then the flow, it's unlocked and the flow happens. And you experience literally mind-blowing abundance that it'll be like, buckle up, hang on for the ride, and get ready to experience your divinity in a way that you have never experienced it before. It's absolutely out of this world. Yeah.
Do you think that some people maybe are, I'm going to use the word afraid or hesitant to unlock it because it comes, I know that was for me, the wealth when it came in before I had any awareness of spirit, right? I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Am I equipped to be a person who has that kind of wealth, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. And now now bringing in consciousness, right? I'm like, ooh, it takes to a whole new level. So can you speak to that? Like, is it possible that we are subconsciously afraid of that?
100%. That's absolutely exactly what's happening. It's like we're driving with one foot on the gas, wanting ready to experience it, but the other foot's on the brake saying, because again, we've had all of these voices and experiences where they have been negative. When people got lots and lots of money and abundance and wealth, we watched and heard the stories, and they really are very, very strong stories of how they were, all of these, they were worse off and on and on and on. But the irony is there have been absolutely the opposite stories as well.
Yes.
But those haven't been talked about as much. And so unfortunately, that subconscious fear is what actually is keeping all of it at bay, because it's like, aha. So now this is what Divine Wealth Code does. It says, this is your code. This is how you are uniquely coded. This is the unique combination of how you have said, yes, this is how I choose to be with wealth, with abundance, with prosperity. And when you now follow that code and you allow that code to permeate in all of the areas, in how you're managing your money, the decisions you're making around that, doing it, yes, differently than perhaps how your family, your parents, your community, your church, your spiritual centers, whatever they have said and what they have done have affected you. But it's about clearing that, right? So for me, for example, my mother was actually an accountant. Yes, so she was an accountant and a musician. Here I am, right? Both my mother and father. Same.
Love it.
And she was brilliant at working with other people's money. She, ran whole apartment and condo complexes and churches. She was their treasurer. I mean, she was great with it for others. Yes, but now for herself, that was a whole different story. And this is the thing. You can do things like that really well because the knowledge, if you have those practices, the skills, the know-how. But when it comes to the emotional, that spiritual piece, again, if you're not even aware of what's going on, those blind spots, you will sabotage. You will keep that foot on the brake because you are afraid, what does that mean about me if I now have lots of money? Who do I become? Am I going to be like those people? So if you've had a judgment about rich or wealthy people that somehow are all negative, well, then you think money is evil, you're not going to allow yourself to have it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to become like those people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the unconscious and subconscious beliefs, habits, and limitations we've placed on ourselves. And therefore we keep the brakes on and we actually don't allow the abundance that's actually ready to flow. It's right there in us, around us, all circulating, and we will find ways to sabotage it. So yes, it's about then knowing, as this abundance, already deciding ahead of time, this is what the abundance is for. This is what the money is for. This is how I choose consciously to utilize it, to allow it to serve me and all of those around the world. See, this is that piece. It's completely redefining what it is and what it's for. Who is it for? How is it to be used? You get to decide and choose according to your divine wealth code. This is the beautiful thing. So we have those practices step by step. Okay, as it comes in, what do you do with it? This is what you do with it. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah. Then what? And then what's the next? Because as we expand and grow, there's always another level to step into. Yeah. So this is what I love, especially when I've worked with people who already had lots of money on some levels, right? They already were at 6 figures and so forth. And then stepping up into that next level, 7 figures and more and more. There's always another level of expansion that's calling you forth that requires another layer of releasing and unlocking more of your divine wealth code. So this is an ever-growing thing. You know, we've had some people come through this program and have absolutely amazing, astounding results. And then they're like, all right, I've got it. And then the next level is calling to them. And then they're like, right? So they were comfortable at 6 figures. They finally got there, or mid 6 figures or whatever that was. And now it's like, okay, 7 figures, they're at the door. That has a different frequency. That has a whole level. And you now have to start to calibrate to that, connect in with your divine wealth code on that higher level. And that's a really, really quantum energy shift that needs to happen. So
so good. You know what? I think this conversation is so important because more and more we hear, and it's like we can't even pretend that there is a shift happening in the economy, right? Like on top of the transformation that we're going through spiritually, there is literally one of the most important systems in the world that we have created. It sustains life. I don't care what anybody says. Money sustains life. It's true that it keeps the world going. It just does, right? So one of the systems that we have created as humans that keeps things going is literally shifting. And I mean, depending on who you listen to, we are about to go through one of the, and I don't want to use words that are going to create something that's not necessary, because
I get where you're going. And I get what you're speaking to. Exactly, because we don't even need to go down that road, because guess what? This is the point. So here's the actual point. And I'm going to speak about it by going back to 2008.
Okay, perfect.
Similar
we can
time,
still remember it. Yeah.
It's not that long ago for most of us, right? So we can still remember that. And I was right in the middle of that. I had literally just moved from Arizona to California. I had this new agent, and I'm thinking, all right, things are going to start rocking and rolling. And then 2008 hit, right? That September, literally I moved in September 2008 when it all happened. And it was just like, sure, crickets, and nothing was happening. And it was like, okay, all right. And this is where I love this beautiful truth, because the truth is, it matters not what is going on outside of you. That is the truth, because the truth is, you are creating your world and your experience within. So thankfully, in the midst of all of that, I had people calling me to work with me. I got offers out of the blue. And in fact, one of my first mentors literally hired me to work with her. And I then worked with her over those next 5 years. And I've had the most growth in my entire life over that time.
Oh, that's so great, Orgena. Thank you for saying that, because my intention is that we speak to it and that we are prepared for it. Prepared meaning we don't freak out, we don't get scared. We tap into the truth that you just said, right? It's your it's your inner.
Go deeper.
Yes.
You go deeper.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what the opportunity is, actually. This is what it's for. Now, those who are conscious will go deeper and really connect in. And again, especially those will learn what your code is.
Yes.
Because when you know that, now you've got a solid system to guide you through no matter what's happening.
Right.
Those who are unconscious, some of them will start waking up through it. Some will be reminded through it, and others will just be in freak out mode. And that's where those of us who are conscious really can extend a hand and reach out and really create and be that change, because this is how we do it, right? Rising tides raise all ships. So as we do this together, this is how we can help keep some folks from going into freak out mode.
Those who are willing.
There's a better way. There's something that's calling you forth. And that's all it is. That's all it always is. Some people choose to see it happening to them and go into victim. Right. But others can see that it's happening for you and go into victor. So that's the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for saying. Right, absolutely. It's beautiful. It's the opportunity. Yeah, it's the opportunity. And will we see it that way? Or will we give into the story that's happening all around us? And thank you for saying that, because I really want to make sure that our listeners, our viewers, you are prepared to handle it differently than maybe we've ever done before. Maybe then we've seen other people handle it around us, that we know there are other options other than putting your head in the sand until it passes, right? Yeah. Because I know some people do. I've seen them do it.
And that's certainly their choice. Again, we're divine beings. So if we as divine beings choose to act as if we're not and go into freak out, worry mode, allow the human limitation side to take over, absolutely we can. But we don't have to. There are other options.
And I think the option that you just spoke about, that we are speaking about in the salon, is really a tremendous opportunity that's awakening us to a deeper level of who we are and our divine wealth code. So beautiful. So amazing. So so great. So as we wrap up our conversation, I'm looking at the time again. And I know it goes by so fast.
So quickly.
It does. I know you're working on some new project, and I just love the name of it. And I love the way you spoke about it, merging two different things that you are doing. Because again, this is an opportunity that you saw. Hey, I'm doing these two things that could actually coexist together. Can you speak a little more to that?
Absolutely. Well, speaking to the very thing that we were talking about, where some will be in freak out mode and fear mode and start to spiral down. So I've been called to really step up and be even more visible in this work of the Divine Wealth Code. So we are actually doing a book compilation with many called The Divine Voice of Wealth. So we're doing a book compilation, we're doing a docu-series, and we're doing a movie called The Divine Voice of Wealth. So that those who are conscious, those who are thriving, those who are indeed living at that highest frequency and level can share their voice, share their stories, share their journeys of really connecting in, to who they truly are, to who we are, and rising in these times rather than succumbing and spiraling down. And so this is that time I'm going that much bigger so that this message can be heard absolutely around the world, because it really is needed, especially right now. So so the Divine Voice of Wealth book, docu-series, and the movie. I'm so excited. So excited about these. Yes.
I am really, really excited for it too, because it is so timing. And I'm glad that you're responding to the calling and saying, yep, okay, I'll be more visible if that's what's needed. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, it's that beautiful combination of my background, right? So I have the divine wealth background, and I have the production and entertainment. So why not use those skills to bring out this beautiful divine message to the world in a way and at a time that's so most needed right now?
Yeah, amazing. Oh, it's so exciting, Orgena. So could you tell us, because claiming your gift, which by the way, you guys, you know the button below this video, and Orgena, I will ask you to introduce it to us. But claiming the gift will get you access to Orgena's world. So when she creates the movie, docuseries, and the book, as long as you stay connected with her, you will know about it. And maybe we'll have you back in a salon when it all goes live, so we can introduce it as well. So tell us about the gift.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I want every single person listening, watching, to experience the Divine Wealth Code for themselves, to find out what is your unique Divine Wealth Code, and so that you can already begin to live according to it, to connect in with it, and to release what's no longer serving, so that you can indeed finally experience the divine abundance and wealth that's awaiting you, already there. So I am giving a 3-day activation. It's a divine wealth activation, 3 days to literally connect in with your unique divine wealth code. Yes, you will learn what yours is specifically. And then what are some immediate steps that you can take to connect in and use your divine wealth code to have that immediate shift in your life. So that free gift will be at divinewealthcode.com.
Perfect.
Divinewealthcode.com.
Yeah, and we do have it under the button, so you can either go to Divine Wealth Code or just go on, click the button right below this video. We make it easy. Make it easy. Just click the easy button.
Click the button. That's much easier. See, ease and flow already.
So good. Make sure you go and claim it. 3 days of your Divine Wealth activation code, Divine Wealth Code activation, and get into Orgena's world so you can be, first of all, be in a Divine Wealth experience already, and then be ready for her beautiful work and being in a space of when it opens up, when it's available to the rest of the world. So amazing. Thank you for being in the salon. You are just, like, I'm gonna use this words, drip of wealth. Like, your energy is just so delicious and rich. You just speaking activates that wealth within all of us. So thank you for being here in the salon again. And I'm looking forward to continuing to play with you and seeing all the amazingness that you create in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Make sure you claim the gift right below this video, and we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for now.